One last thing that I do want to get to outside of that, Mr. Brock Purdy, man. We saw him last year in the playoffs play a couple of games and then end up getting hurt in the NFC Championship against the Eagles, but it's time. We're back in the playoffs again. And I do want to know what you think. If you think Brock Purdy can lead this team to a Super Bowl, are you confident in that? How come?
Had some real stinkers this season, man. He's a really good quarterback. A really good quarterback. Top 10. But when he plays poorly, ooh. And we've seen him play poor. I mean, he melts down.
Totally.
It's like he snowballs. He presses. He's hard on himself. If he has a bad start to the game, it can get worse. If it's a good start to the game, he could cruise. But we've heard Kyle say this kid is hard on himself. And we've heard teams talk about him like he is an anticipatory thrower. There are certain spots on the field he wants to throw to with anticipation. If you do your homework, you can be in those spots. But it's not just doing your homework. You have to have the best coverage linebackers in the league. And not just coverage because they got to stop the run too against McCaffrey. You got to have the best linebackers in the league and some of the best safeties in the league. Guys who can stop the run and the pass. How many teams have two of those at each spot? Cleveland and Baltimore.
You're right.
And they have two of the best defensive coordinators in Jim Schwartz and Mike McDonald, who have proven that they can read Kyle Shanahan's mail. They've done it this year. So if the Niners face either of those two teams again, you'd be lying if you said you weren't nervous about what Brock's going to do against Cleveland and Baltimore. Now against Kansas City and Buffalo, I don't know. I haven't seen it. But we know Brock's game. He needs to throw with anticipation to be effective. We know it. And it can come back to bite you.
Yes.
Against the best defenses.
Against 100%. Yeah. 100%, dude. And
because really, you need him to manage the game in the playoffs. If he throws 25 passes a game, hits the open man, checks the ball down, throws the ball away, throws no picks, Niners could win the Super Bowl just like that. That's how the Seahawks won it 10 years ago with Russell Wilson. But if they're like, hey, man, we need you to throw 40 times a game and take chances and risks, nah, they're going to lose. They're going to lose.
That's where it gets dicey.
Yeah.
And another thing, too, is just we really haven't seen – I get nervous because I don't know what the playoffs are going to look like, if we're going to be killing teams or if games are going to be close. But for the most part, outside of the 3-game skid and then the loss to Baltimore, we've been crushing teams, and we've pretty much been winning by a lot. And Brock really hasn't had to worry about coming back and playing from behind. And now
no pressure for Brock, no pressure for Jake.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Yeah,
no pressure. No pressure
for Kyle. No pressure for Kyle. Those are the three, the trifecta of pressure. Kyle, Jake, and Brock. How you gonna do?
Man. That's what scares me, dude. Listen, like you said, I'm a believer.
The two 24-year-olds and Kyle. Crazy.
Those three.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Always something with these guys. Yeah, dude. That's one thing that really does scare me, dude. It's just not that I don't believe in him. It's just I haven't seen it yet, so I don't really have much reason to believe that if we have to play from behind, he's gonna totally go kick some tail and lead us to a win. Like, I don't know. You know,
to be fair to Brock, I feel like the whole offense isn't built to play from behind.
It's not.
From the coach to the offensive line, the playbook, it's just not what they do. So I'm not going to put it all on him, but I'll put some of it on him.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, and luckily it's worked out that way. For the most part, we haven't even had to because our offense has been so elite. But the times that it has, I guess, aside from the Browns game, because technically he didn't have a good game, but he did lead that game-winning drive, and then Jake Moody came in and absolutely shanked it. So there was that too. So, that's just the one reason why I'm a little iffy if he can lead us, because again, we're gonna be going against some solid teams, and if we end up going against the Ravens, who knows how the game is gonna look, what the structure of the game will be. But if we have to play from behind, I do get a little bit nervous. Yeah,
I mean, I think the thing with Brock is like the Niners have assembled this team with these 5 Like they can put 5 eligible receivers out in the pattern, and all of them are really good. Whether the 5th guy is Juszczyk or Jawan Jennings, they're all threats. Not that many
Mm-hmm.
teams can do that. And I think with all of them on the field and Kyle Shanahan designing and calling the plays, usually one guy's going to be open.
Mm-hmm.
And Brock's so good at just seeing it and not hesitating and putting it on him. I mean, it sounds like it's easy and is managing the game, but he's really good at that. It's just when the Niners face those rare defenses that are top tier who can play elite zone defense or match up man to man like Cleveland and Baltimore. And they don't have any weaknesses at corner, linebacker, or safety. None.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not as simple as just, hey, who's open? What if no one's open?
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna do? Like, are you gonna force it? Are you gonna throw some passes into coverage? Because that's what you did against those teams. Or
Mm-hmm.
are you gonna just check it down, manage the game, and win with your defense or run the ball? We'll have to see. We'll have to see.
But also, we've seen situations where they haven't been open, and Purdy's been able, like, unlike past quarterbacks like Jimmy, he's been able to really create something and give himself a little bit more time. And then, although I guess that he's had a couple which are like, holy criminy, dude, like, why would you even try that? And they end up working out. But, like, against
That's
Washington
my
winning,
issue with him.
yeah.
That's my issue.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
And that could
for
get
example,
scary.
to me, this started after the bye week. He lost 3 games in a row, and people were talking about job security. I was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 3 games in a row, and he was throwing a lot of picks. Apparently, apologized to the team. All this. He comes out against Jacksonville, and it felt like he was playing for his job. I mean, you lose to Jacksonville, you lose a 4th in a row, and you throw picks.
Mm-hmm.
So he comes out. I mean, remember this game? He comes out first drive. They're in the red zone. He rolls to his left, throws back to his right. There's like 8 Jacksonville defenders right where he throws it. It goes through all of their hands and lands in Brandon Ayuk's hands. And, freaking Brock's like, yeah, man. Like, and it's cool. That's Brock. But he took a real risk. That was a terrible decision, according to anyone, according to Kyle Shanahan. It worked out. And I feel like he's been playing that way ever since because he wants to show that he's a gunslinger. Gunslingers make throws like that. Then he goes against Baltimore this last, couple weeks ago. First drive of the game, forces the ball into the end zone on 1st and 10 from the 15 to a double covered receiver, just forces it in there. Very similar to that play to me from Jacksonville. This time it doesn't work out, and it sets the tone for the whole game. So don't do that.
Yeah.
Play within yourself just for 3 games, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just for 3 games. You'll be immortal. You'll be one of the youngest quarterbacks who ever won the Super Bowl. No one will care how you did it.
Yeah. Not all those are going to work out like that one did. And I remember watching that one live against Jacksonville, and I was so shocked that he tried it, and then even more shocked it got through.
I don't like this whole gunslinger thing. I'm going to go on a rant with Brock Purdy right now. He makes some nice throws. He makes some nice throws, okay? You're not a gunslinger. Just because you make 1 or 2 throws a game that people are like, oh, wow, that was really – he fit that in a tight window. He extended the play. Man, your job is to just distribute the ball to your all-pro playmakers who are wide open a lot of the time. That's your job. And just because we can put together a 5 to 10 minute highlight reel of you making tight window throws, that doesn't mean you have to do that very often. Patrick Mahomes has to do that all the time. Josh Allen has to do that. CJ Stroud has to do that all the time. Just because you can do it a couple times a game doesn't mean you have to go out there and prove that. Freaking check it down.
Yeah.
That's a great option for you. It's not a great option for most quarterbacks, but for you, checking it down, that's a 13-yard gain a lot of the time. It's not about proving yourself in that way in these next 3 games. Just win the game. Do what the Niners need you to do, which is check it down.
You're right. It's not about proving himself like that, and that can get scary, dude, because like you said, we saw that against Baltimore and trying to prove it. Hey, trying to cement his MVP.
Him against Lamar. Who's going to be the MVP? Like, doesn't matter.
Dude.
Doesn't freaking matter. You lost, and now it's not going to be you or Christian because you lost.
Good point. You're right, dude. And I hope that it doesn't come to that. Like, he's going to start slinging the ball and trying to start forcing some things, and we just have to hope, I guess. Don't do it.
Don't manage the game. Take your ego out of it, dude. Check it down. Check it the hell down. If you can go through the playoffs and not throw a pick, the Niners should win the Super Bowl. That's how good they are.
I totally agree.
That's it. Anything else is freaking bonus. And I'm not saying go out there and play like Trent Dilfer, but Don't try to play like Brett Favre. It ain't you.
Mm-hmm. Good point. I love it, dude. You're right, and I'm praying because I mean I'm a Niner fan. I don't know if you're a fan. I guess you're more of objective. You just cover the team. But as a fan, I am praying and hoping that it doesn't end up coming to that because I would love to see the Niners hoist another Super Bowl that I haven't been able to see them do in my life because it's always been a playoff meltdown every
I hate to
single
think that
year.
Brock has like a little bit of a Napoleonic complex. Like, hey man, I'm better than you think. Just because I'm just a little bit smaller I have the strongest arm doesn't mean that I'm just like, okay, all right, okay, fine, whatever. Don't get caught up in the narrative around you, dude. Like, don't sink to that level. You determine the narrative with your accomplishments. You don't have to talk to Mark Schlereth and be like anyone who watches film or knows what they're looking at. No, like stop.
I
It'll
feel
all work
like
out.
I hope. I feel like I don't know. I feel
You
like
can't
for
change people's minds by talking.
hmm yeah, you can't. Definitely
You
not.
can't
So it's
argue your way out of this one. Like you just gotta
hmm
play.
you just gotta
People
play.
come around,
Yep, people come
or they won't.
around or they
You win
won't.
the Super Bowl, people come around, man. Go back and watch Tom Brady. The guy dinked and dunked left and right. No one
You're
cares.
no one's really gonna no one's really
No
gonna
one
remember
cares.
that. Just go out there and do what you need to do and
Win the
manage
Super
this
Bowl.
game and win the Super Bowl because you have the roster to do it. Yeah, you're right, dude.
Because if you
100%.
can't win the Super Bowl with this team making $900K, people are gonna wonder about you about giving you
Oh
that
yeah,
$50 million a year. So
you're right.
for gunslinger, game manager, all you got to do to get that bag, win the Super Bowl. Any means necessary, dude.
Any means. You're right,
Any means.
dude.
Yeah.
100%. Good point. Right on, dude.